Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It is December 6th, 2025, and I'm back with another read out of my book, 13 Original Clan Mothers by Jamie Sams. Today we are reading the chapter called Gives Praise regarding the clan mother of the 12th moon cycle. Gives Praise is the clan mother of the 12th moon cycle who teaches us how to be grateful for everything we experience in life. In returning thanks, we are shown how to make space in our lives for future abundance. Gives Praise teaches us to see how we are healing through every lesson we encounter on the good red road. This clan mother reminds us to be grateful for the challenges we are given, no matter how difficult, since they show us how to develop our inner strength. The 12th cycle of truth is giving thanks for the truth. The moon cycle of this clan mother falls in December. The medicines of Gives Praise and of the color purple are healing and gratitude. Through this guardian of ritual and ceremony, we rediscover the importance of setting aside time for celebrating the gifts in our lives. When we show the great mystery that we are thankful for all that life gives, we are completing the circle of blessing we have received. Gives Praise reminds us that habitual ritual performed by rote, R-O-T-E, which is over and over and over again, and without a happy heart, does not show gratitude and cannot bring healing into our lives. For instance, saying grace over a meal in the same manner each time does not express true gratitude and can become meaningless. Gives Praise teaches us that sharing our abundance is another way we can keep our lives flourishing. As the mother of abundance, Gives Praise instructs us in the value of giving as well as receiving. She reminds us that we are to be grateful for what we are able to give away, as well as being thankful for the gifts of life we receive. In this manner, the circle of giving and receiving is created, allowing us to share. The simple joys of the earth walk are gifts we often take for granted. The warmth of grandfather's sun, the ability to breathe, our health, free will, clean water, food, shelter, and the love of friends and family are blessings. If a few of these basic privileges were taken away, human beings would quickly understand their importance. Gives Praise points out the crooked trail followed by those who have forgotten these blessings and who only want to fill their emptiness with material objects or pretend wisdom that will never make them happy or whole. The 12th clan mother shows humankind that magic is no more than a change in consciousness. Right attitude and a change of heart have created more miracles in people's lives than all the sorcery ever performed throughout time. When Gives Praise was learning the lessons of being human, she discovered that celebrating life and being grateful for everything when encountered created a completion. Then the wheel of life could turn again, creating new abundance, new experiences, and further joy. Tangible results always follow thoughts. Negative thoughts and fears will magnetize difficult life lessons. Discovering the truth that negativity robs us of our joy and learning how to change those patterns can shift the experience. This clan mother teaches us that being grateful for the truth found in our lives gives us the right attitudes and produces miraculous healing and new paths to follow. Because of her discovery, Gives Praise earned the right to become the keeper of magic, showing us how a change in perception, attitude, or consciousness can create magic and miracles. Gives Praise encourages all children of earth through through praising what is best in their natures. She She shows us that when we celebrate who we are and give thanks for the lives we are leading, we then open our hearts to continue the healing process of being human. The truth we find in every experience of our spiritual evolution marks the forward step on our individual pathway of peace. Giving thanks for every victory we achieve and encouraging others by praising and being grateful for their victories ensures the continued movement of humankind toward unity. Dancing the dance of celebration. Gives Praise stood outside the Turtle Council house, waiting for the family who was coming for a naming ceremony. The clan mother had rejoiced when one of the members of her tribe had delivered twins during the 2 moons past. The tiny boy and girl were given names by the mother in the first few moments after birth, but the inner names or spiritual names were to be given by a wise woman. The feasting that would follow the naming ceremony was open to all tribe members, but the ceremony itself would only be attended by the clan mother, the twins, and their natural mother. Spiritual or inner names were never spoken out loud, and only the mother of the child was allowed to hear the name the clan mother or wise woman bestowed in order to protect the child's vulnerable, sacred space from harmful trickster spirits. The inner name was the way that a human being would be recognized in the spirit world. Any spirit who called a two-legged by a name other than the secret spiritual name was not to be trusted. The ancestors' spirits and the spirits of the totems, who were allied to humankind by offering assistance, always used the person's secret name to make contact. This son of celebrations would begin the twins' connections to the spirit world. Gives Praise had spent much time in Tioe, the stillness, looking at the orenda of each child. Each one of the twins had a different set of talents and abilities, as well as unique and individual spiritual essences. The boy child was guarded by the spirit of Jaguar, whose medicine was secular and spiritual leadership potential. The little boy had the potential to become a great chief and the added ability to carry the talents of a medicine man. The girl child was called by Raven, the keeper of magic, who sought the void of the unknown to effect change. Together, these special twins could accomplish great things for the tribe, who celebrated their arrival with open arms and best intentions. Gives Praise turned, surveying the surrounding area, admiring all of the lush green grasses and the wildflowers that covered the land around the Turtle Council House. Gives Praise could see the rolling hills on the other side of the high meadow, the tall standing pines, and the sloping meadowlands that led down to the high mountain lake. The council house looked like a giant turtle walking in deep grass, coming down the hills toward the water. The domed roof was made of sod and covered with large flat stones, giving the appearance of a turtle's shell. The turtle's head was made of an enormous stone that had been carved to accent the eyes, but the natural shape was exactly like the head of the sea tortoise. Gives Praise took in all the beauty around her and returned thanks for the glorious vistas of the mother planet. The twins would have a wonderful time as they tested, tasted, touched, and smelled the natural world around them. Gives Praise could imagine what it would be like to be born into such a world, blessed and cursed with such a tiny, helpless human body. She often thought of how she had come to walk the earth in her already adult body that would stay forever young. It must be difficult to experience growing up in a human form, she mused. And yet, it could be a wonderful time of discovery and loving experience given the right environment. She decided to follow the twins' growth and to put herself in their places in order to capture the lessons of a childhood she had never experienced. When Twilight Moon came walking up the path from the lake, bringing her twins bundled on the front of her chest in fur-lined hides, Gives Praise observed the young mother's light step and bright countenance. Twilight Moon had a good sense of balance, and the extra weight of the babies seemed to bolster her rather than weigh her down. The long strides of the young woman made along the path to the council house were a sure sign that she was healthy and vital, letting any observer see that the birth of twins had been taken in stride. Twilight Moon's radiant smile flashed across the closing distance between the young mother and Gives Praise. The clan mother could sense the pride and joy Twilight Moon felt as she continued the journey to the council house to properly start the twins on the path of spiritual wholeness. The naming ceremony would assure that her little boy and girl would find protection on their spiritual journeys while their physical growth was monitored by two loving parents and a family full of doting relatives. The two women gingerly embraced, making sure not to crush the twins, and Gives Praise assisted Twilight Moon in untying the halters that held the babies against the young mother's chest. As Gives Praise looked into the eyes of the tiny infant boy, she was pleased to find an open-eyed, level stare gazing back at her. The child was already living up to his jaguar medicine. Gives Praise smiled and nodded, then reached for the girl child. The ebony eyes of the little girl sparkled in the early morning light, mirroring a hidden magic that did not waver in the sunlight. Gives Praise laughed when the infant girl half closed one eyelid in an involuntary wink. A descending path had been cut in the meadow to allow access to the interior of the Turtle Lodge. The shell roof was above the earth, but the oval-shaped council room was below. Inside, two fires, one at either end, gave off a welcoming warmth. Gives Praise had Twilight Moon sit facing her on the fur robes that had been placed in the center of the lodge. The light from Grandfather Sun filtered through three smoke holes, one above each fire, and the third one offering light in the area where the women sat with the babies. Gives Praise lit a braid of sweetgrass and smoked all four of them to bring in the spirits of childlike sweetness before she spoke. On this sun, we come before the light of Grandfather Sun's love as it enters the body of the Earth Mother, lighting our ways. This guardian of ceremony gives thanks for the health and life of Twilight Moon, who will nurture these two little ones during their earth walks. These women thank Swenio, the great mystery, for the gift of life and breath, for all the goodness that can be found on the good red road. These mothers here thank Days, the Earth Mother, for the abundance she freely gives to support our human ways. We return thanks to the creature teachers who guard the spirits of these twins and have offered to be totems for the babies. This one, who seeks answers, humbly asks that the ancestor spirits guide her in finding the inner names of these two little ones so that they may be recognized in the spirit world. Silence fell in the lodge, and Grandfather Sun's light briefly flashed as if a cloud had rolled away, bringing an illuminating beam of light into the circle created by the two women and the twins. Gives Praise smiled and then closed her eyes as if she was looking into her own heart, being enlightened by the flash of love that Grandfather Sun had sent through the opening in the roof. Gives Praise laid the girl child in a hollowed-out log filled with soft rabbit pelts and continued. This wise woman asks that the spirit of this baby girl be recognized by the ancestors, and that the ancient ones bless her with a name that will carry and uplift her spirit at all times during her earth walk. This clan mother asks that the spirit of nature, who will be the child's devoted teachers, come into this lodge so that they will know her inner name and honor it for all the suns and sleeps of her human life, bringing comfort and courage until it is time to drop her robe and return to the other side camp of the spirit world. For these requests, this woman gives thanks and praises the beauty way, followed by all the spirits called into this sacred lodge. The girl child gurgled and cooed as if she understood, and then began looking at something invisible hovering above her. Gives praise felt and saw the spirits who came to honor the life of this child, circling the four gathered. The guardian of ceremony and ritual was pleased to see that Twilight Moon had sensed the change as the spirits entered the lodge and was trying to cover her nervousness by patting the little boy she held to her shoulder. Gives praise assured the young mother that all was as it should be and that the spirits who had gathered were benevolent and kind. The clan mother watched as every spirit gathered, filed past the tiny girl, and blessed the child's spirit by touching her orenda, or spiritual essence. Then Gives praise felt the baby's spiritual name form inside the inner knowing of her heart, and like a bubble, the name rose from her heart to her lips, spilling into the lodge like the sound of clear water. Twilight Moon, the ancient ones have blessed your daughter with a name that she will be known by in the spirit world. She shall be called Pipe Song, and the raven is her protector. Pipe Song is the song that flows through the smoke of all our relations, bringing oneness with all things. This oneness found through the song of the pipe is the magic that allows two-leggeds to change and open themselves to the miracles of human life that come from right attitude. This girl child will be an example for those around her. Through her ability to live her life, like the song of oneness that comes from the pipe, others will observe ways that they can touch the magic of life that comes when humility and thankfulness are present. After returning thanks for the blessings given to the pipe song, After returning thanks for the blessings given to Pipe Song by the ancient ones and thanking the spirits of nature for coming to be a part of Pipe Song's ceremony, the clan mother gave all the spirits who had gathered permission to go on their ways. When the turtle lodge was cleared, the wise woman handed Pipe Song to her mother and took the boy child into her arms. As she met this bold stare, Gives praise was struck by the knowing gaze of the infant. It was as if he could see through her body and into the vastness of her orenda. This child was not afraid of anything and would make a fine leader and medicine man for his tribe. Like his sister, this little brother was one of the ancestors who had returned to continue the next turn of the medicine wheel by walking in human form once again. As the wise woman placed the tiny boy in the log cradle, his little hand reached for the clan mother's finger, making a fist, holding it as if he intended to keep the mother of abundance's attention. The wise woman reached out with her mind and tried to connect to the intent sent her way by this ancestor in a tiny body. As their minds met in the melding of their sacred spaces, she heard his thoughts. Grandmother, I have come to teach my people the importance of balancing their spiritual paths with the roles they choose to walk in life. I intend to be a living example of a man who has balanced his reasoning powers and good judgment with the spiritual receptivity of the feminine principle. Will you assist me in this journey and be my teacher? Gives praise answered the ancient one in the baby body with a nod, allowing the warmth in her heart to course through her hand into the tiny fist that held her finger. Then she began the same ceremonial thanksgivings used with his sisters, naming, inviting all of the boy's spirit allies to come into the lodge. When all were gathered, the wise woman began her request to the great mystery. Swenio, great and eternal mystery, This woman here asks that you bless the path of this ancient one who has returned. This wise woman requests that my influence in this child's life be helpful, caring, and nurturing, supporting his intent in this earth walk. This clan mother thanks the earth mother for the gift of his body, which will carry this child's spirit through the many summers of his life. This humble servant asks that her heart be blessed by the ancestors who have chosen the spiritual name of the boy. May those ancestors find this woman's heart pure and send that name for her heart to understand and for her lips to speak. A gust of wind flew down the smoke holes over the two fires at the ends of the lodge and created a burst of flame that startled Twilight Moon. Gives Praise reached over and patted the young mother's hand to reassure her that all was well, then briefly closed her eyes to look into her own heart. The emergence of a fiery ball in the center of the clan mother's heart quickened her pulse and caused her to take a deep breath. The smell of wood smoke wafted through the lodge. The reflections of light from the smoke holes danced, and the walls of the lodge, made of the Earth Mother's body, gave off a rich perfume. The smell of moist soil mingled with the straw and leaves that were compressed into each mud brick surrounded the infants, signaling the love being sent as a blessing from the planetary mother. Gives Praise opened her eyes and said, Twilight Moon, the Earth Mother and the ancestors have blessed your boy with a spiritual name. His path will reflect the medicine he carries, and he will be recognized in the spirit world by the name of Talking Arrow. The arrow is a symbol of the path of truth, perfectly balanced for flight, directed toward a goal. This boy will grow tall and will speak with truth on his tongue. Talking Arrow will lead the people through example as he uses his medicine to heal and his wisdom to show others how to give thanks for the truth in their lives. Together, your children will have many opportunities to show our tribe how to follow the beauty way. Twilight Moon sat in the stillness of the moment, taking in all that the clan mother had said. Her babies would need to be nurtured and loved in a way that would support the development of their abilities. The young mother's mind was filled with memories of her own childhood and how she had passed through the uncertainty of growing up. She remembered all the discomforts of those adolescent years and how she felt so out of place among the other young women of the tribe. Then she had believed that she would never find a mate or have children. Now, she had become the mate of a strong, brave, and gentle man who loved her deeply, and she was proudly sitting in the Turtle Council House at the naming ceremony of her two beautiful children. She felt that the abundance in her life was due to the guidance and loving encouragement of the clan mother who sat in front of her, sharing one of the most precious moments in the young mother's life. Gives Praise was having the same thoughts as she remembered how the path of life had changed for Twilight Moon. As a young girl, Twilight Moon had been all elbows and eyes. No matter how hard the girl had tried to be graceful, she had fallen over her own feet, knocking over everything in her path. She was made fun of unmercifully by the other girls her age who had dubbed Twilight Moon Stumbling Crane. It was true that the girl had looked like a crane with long, skinny legs and full lips that always seemed to be pursed in a pout that held back a flood of lonely tears. The only person who ever saw those tears was Gives Praise. In the 14th summer of Twilight Moon's life, she had run to the forest after one particularly cruel name-calling session when she was not included in other girls' games. Gives Praise had found the girl sobbing uncontrollably with her arms wrapped around a giant cottonwood. The clan mother's heart had gone out to the child, knowing that she had no relations who would comfort her. Twilight Moon's mother had dropped her robe, leaving her earthly form to walk in the spirit world in the third summer of the girl's life. The child's father had married a widowed woman with 3 daughters who were the beauties of the tribe, leaving the rearing of his own daughter to his new wife. Twilight Moon's new mother was not a mean woman, but was prideful and constantly boasting about the talents of her 3 eligible daughters, never giving a word of encouragement to her lonely stepdaughter. Growing up in a lodge full of seemingly perfect stepsisters had taken its toll on Twilight Moon's self-esteem, particularly when tribal law dictated that adolescent girls were not supposed to worry their fathers with anything. Women were responsible for the traditional training of the females in the tribe. Being ignored or occasionally spoken to as an afterthought, coupled with the degrading remarks passed by the 3 stepsisters when adults were not present, had created an empty and nearly unbearable life for Twilight Moon. The giver of encouragement found the situation to be a challenge. Gives Praise took Twilight Moon into her heart that day in the forest and spent many passing seasons nurturing the girl's broken heart, showing her how to regain the magic of life. In the beginning, the clan mother held and rocked the girl, letting her know that someone loved her and that there was a safe place to come to. Let her tears flow. The keeper of magic showed Twilight Moon how to count every blessing and how to be grateful for every lesson of life. Sometimes Gives Praise cringed when she heard the blessings Twilight Moon gave thanks for, hearing her thanking Swenio, the great mystery, for the passing of a son when nobody purposely tripped her or stripped Twilight Moon of her sense of self with cruel remarks, caused the clan mother to feel the hurt still deep inside the child. The clan mother continued to give Twilight Moon loving encouragement and praise for every accomplishment the girl mastered. Finally, in the 16th summer of her life, Twilight Moon began to blossom. The gracefulness that had evaded her during her younger years suddenly bloomed, giving the young woman the reward of learning to believe in the magic of life. All of Gives Praise lessons of returning thanks in order to make space for the abundance found in the beauty way had come to fruition. In learning to give thanks, Twilight Moon had also learned to make space for and to receive the blessings sent her way. The magic of becoming a self-assured young woman was brought to fullness through the compassionate and caring guidance of Gives Praise. The nights of silently crying herself to sleep were a thing of the past. Twilight Moon had become a young woman full of willowy grace, exhibiting a strength within herself, her connection to Orenda, and the great mystery. Out of her former pain, the girl had developed a sensitivity for the feelings of others that gave her a gentleness that attracted every young warrior in the tribe. It was no great surprise to Gives Praise when the chief's son, Dancing Fire, brought 7 horses and 10 buffalo robes to Twilight Moon's father and asked for her hand. There was something very special about the young woman that now caused others to turn and look in admiration when she passed. The imprint of old pain was transformed into much more than her physical beauty. True to her name, an inner light shone from Twilight Moon's eyes. Grandfather Sun's peach-colored rays at sunset and the silver light of the rising form of Grandmother Moon blended inside the young woman's Orenda. When the twins were born, Twilight Moon saw her children as the manifestation of the blessings that she had been grateful for, nurtured inside her body like seeds of the future during the years it had taken her to heal the hurts of growing up. The birth names she had chosen for the twins reflected aspects of herself and her mate, Dancing Fire. She named her son, Sun on Fire, and her daughter, Rising Melon Moon. These were the names that would be used by the tribe identifying the twins on their earth walks. The memories of the journey that had led to this naming ceremony in the Turtle Council House were noted and honored by both women. Twilight Moon's story represented the potential of the human spirit. Those two-leggeds who knew how to have faith and be grateful for every blessing and lesson of life created the space to receive the great mystery's abundance. The gradual shift in Twilight Moon's attitude during her years of emotional pain gave birth to a dream of fulfillment that would bring continued happiness throughout her earth walk. Gives Praise spoke, bringing both women from their memories and into the special feeling of the moment. These women give thanks to all our relations for the gifts of abundant life brought by the great mystery. These women, as mothers of the creative force, humbly ask for the continued blessings of life and breath so that our love may be felt in the lives of these twins. This clan mother gives thanks for the opportunity to share this rare moment and for the blessings bestowed by all the spirits who will guide the ways of these children. This wise woman gives thanks for the good medicine that the Creator placed inside the hearts of these family members and for the way those gifts of love will touch everyone around them for the length of their earth walks. Dun, dana, Danaho, it is said. Danaho, it is said. The two women finished the ceremony by sitting in Tioe, the stillness, saying their personal words of thanksgiving in silence. Then each woman carried a twin and walked clockwise around the Turtle Lodge, stopping at each clan mother's shield. The twins were ritually introduced to the gifts that each clan mother carried and were blessed by the presence of each clan mother's crystal skull, which held the spiritual lessons and wisdom that each of the 13 clan mothers could impart. When Twilight Moon and Gives Praise emerged from the Turtle Council House with the twins, Dancing Fire was waiting. The beaming father took his daughter from Gives Praise and walked with his family and the wise woman down the path to the lake. The ceremonial grounds had been prepared and all members of the tribe had worn their best ceremonial buckskins for the occasion. Elk, deer, and buffalo meat roasted over open fires and the sweet smells of pumpkin and berry soup wafted through the air. Roasted corn and wild tubers were being served by the women into long, hollowed-out log bowls along with steamed squash and wild greens. The dance grounds were cleared and the powwow drums lined the circle, awaiting the eager tribe members who would express their joy for the family through dancing. After a full sun of feasting, the last rays of Grandfather Sun touched the western horizon of the Sky Nation, bringing all of the glorious colors of twilight. In the eastern sky, Grandmother Moon had already risen to face Grandfather Sun. Like two dancers offering to share hearts and hands, the sun and moon blessed the occasion with the same heavenly display they had shown the human tribe on the evening that Twilight Moon was born. Gives Praise was not the only one to notice the significance of the portents found in the great star nation. Dancing Fire's father, the chief named Bear Shield, silently watched the celestial grandparents of the human tribe as they shared the dance of their combined lights. Bear Shield spoke these words, announcing to his tribe the prelude to the dancing. We have gathered here to celebrate the births and beginnings of the spiritual lives of my grandchildren. As with every new addition to our tribe, we thank the great mystery for the newborn generations that represent the continuation of life. We trust that their lives will bless and enrich all circles of life maintained by all our relations. We return thanks for the celebration of being living, breathing human beings who have been given all we will ever need through the abundance of our Earth Mother. Our grandparents, Grandfather Sun and Grandfather Moon, or Grandmother Moon. Our grandparents, Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, have blessed this occasion by showing us their faces, dancing together in the evening sky. The twins will grow like these sky dancers, bringing good medicine to our tribe in different but equally beautiful ways. As we dance and celebrate this new beginning, let us be reminded of the precious gift of life and how our celebration shows the Earth Mother and Sky Father our gratitude. Da Naho, Danaho, Danaho. Cries of happy celebration and rhythm of the tom-toms began calling the dancers to the dance. The men entered the circle first as the protectors of the women, children, and elders. As always, the men scouted ahead to secure a safe trail for the others to follow. Then the women came forward, some with cradle boards on their backs, allowing their infants to feel the rhythm of Earth Mother's heartbeat through the beat of the drums. The children followed, and the elders took their places of honor around the circle, representing the years of wisdom that held the tribal circle together in unity as one large extended family. Gives Praise stood next to Bear Shield, admiring the dancers and the way each one expressed his or her gratitude through steps or dips. Deep into the night, the fires lit the happy faces of the dancers. It seemed as if the whole world were sharing the gladness of this night of happy hearts. The clan mother, who was the guardian of ceremony and ritual, looked at her tribal children and saw the goodness in each and every one. She silently returned thanks for the blessing that the great mystery had placed in her keeping. The wise woman held the knowledge that every ceremony and ritual was cause for celebration, and that every celebration was a way to give gratitude back to the Maker of all things. When her human children opened their hearts to return thanks, they also opened their hearts to receive and claim the joys of the good red road. Twilight Moon touched the medicine pouch around her neck, which was made of moose hide and turkey feathers. The young mother was remembering how she had reclaimed her true self through understanding Moose's medicine of self-esteem, and later through Turkey's medicine of how to release and give away her pain. Twilight Moon's faithful gratitude had brought to her the life she had always dreamed of, finding a loving mate who honored who she was. Having seen the sky dance of Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, Gives Praise was assured that the two strong children being honored with this celebration would bless the tribe by continuing the legacy of love and mutual respect begun by their parents. The clan mother looked to the great star nation and saw a cloud person drifting close to the light of Grandmother Moon. As Gives Praise noticed that no other clouds graced the sky nation, the lone cloud changed into the form of the clan mother's totem, Buffalo. The billowy white cloud Buffalo walked in front of the full face of Grandmother Moon, touching Gives Praise in a profound way. The white buffalo signaled to the clan mother that her gifts to Twilight Moon of encouragement, nurturing praise, and love had created the fertile, magical ground for the seeds of a lonely little girl's dreams to be brought to harvest. Tears of gratitude spilled from the wise woman's eyes, allowing the clan mother to receive the thanks being sent to her from the great mystery. The great white buffalo of abundance was showing her that throughout time, her loving gifts could restore the lost magic to the lives of those human beings who were willing to show gratitude for the unseen miracles of life yet to come. That concludes the reading of this chapter. Thanks, everyone.